Robschild. No investment advice. Welcome to the show where we view financial markets using Ben Graham's investment philosophy, macro, technicals, and crystal ball gazing in that order. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Today's episode, we're going to bring up the 2-month, 20-year reversion. If you've been following the show, you know the 2-year, 10-year has reverted back in September. This typically suggests the end of the tightening cycle and the beginning of the recession is going to come soon. But when it's really here is when you see the 3-month, 10-year reversion. Now, we don't have that quite yet, but I do find it notable that only 2 months away is being priced, actually has a lower yield currently than the 20-year yield. I don't believe I've seen this before. At least not for several years at this point. It sort of just signals to me that, the front end is going down, and that, we're getting there. We're getting there. Again, the 10-year is more important because it has to do with more business lending, and it's not so far away. Remember, 20 years is an entire, extra 10 years on top of the 10-year. So, but the biggest point here is that when the front end is below, especially the 3-month below the 10-year, once we get there, it's signaling that the Federal Reserve is not strangling the economy anymore. And in fact, if anything, they're trying to help things go again. And, that's because typically that's when the economy is really slow and everything is going pretty badly. It's astounding to me how close we are to that part of the cycle, while the S&P 500 is still at basically all-time highs, although we're seeing some signs of weakness today, which brings us to the second agenda item, plus more signs of a top, with Bitcoin not being able to, close yet above that doji candle that we had recently, along with the S&P 500 not being able to even get up to this recent trend line of all these bumps. We couldn't even get to the line. This might signal that, things are rolling over. Not only that, you have, the SMH is dropping here. Nvidia, everyone's favorite stock, has a Head and Shoulders top on it. I've been talking about this forever. There's a ton of speculation in markets right now, especially in Nvidia itself is one of the leading components of that. And it's not looking nearly as bullish, and it can lead things down. Same with the entire semiconductor industry. It's one of these, it can function very well as a leading indicator of where other stocks can go, and it's not looking very strong at all. Add to that the oil, again, always watch Monday's show. Don't bother watching Tuesday through Friday until you've seen Monday's show. Oil is not seeing any strength here either. We'll go on to more charts in a moment. Well, the last agenda item is just simply, mentioning that we have CPI and PPI Wednesday and Thursday this week. If it's too cool, it can signal, okay, things are falling apart here. And, everyone that's been basically betting on inflation continuing to stay high and keep going higher, for a long time, it's like if inflation's too high, then it means the Fed has to be restrictive, therefore no more candy for the market to just keep going and higher and higher, But if we start seeing, inflation going the other way, where it's like, uh-oh, that was weird, it was lower than we thought, and then, that means to the market that it's going to probably keep going in that direction. And when we get there, things will probably fall apart pretty quickly. Wednesday and Thursday, it could be eventful. It could be nothing. We'll see. No changes in the daily reminders. Watch Monday's show. That would be 12/9. It's the show with the brassy clock in the picture or thumbnail. Extremely important to like know where you are. This is the stuff that should be like your GPS. Like, where am I right now? And what's the compass say? What direction are we going in? That's what this stuff is all about. Extremely important to have in the back of your mind as any active investor or trader, or I think investor as well, but that's just me and my crystal ball. Even if your time horizon is 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I think it's important to be aware of the kind of overvaluations that we're seeing in markets right now. With nothing changing in the daily reminders, the crystal ball readings remain the same. And if you want to hear me walk through those, again, watch Monday's show. On to the charts. Again, we already sort of looked at this a little bit, the S&P 500 not being able to get up to this line before rolling over. This is not looking so strong as it had been looking. This is clearly rolling over. Is this going to be a dip that gets bought, sending it back up to this previous trend line that we've been bumping our heads on? Is the market going to have strength? If it does have strength, my question is, where is it going to come from at this point? The election's over. The news is already in. The pattern suggests, yeah. I mean, you've heard me say it on the show before. I think we're at a top. This could be it. It really could be, especially considering that logarithmic, connection from 1929 to the dot-com peak connects to where we are exactly right now, like to a T. So, but that's a crystal ball reading, and that's number 4 in my priorities of how I view markets and investing decisions. But nonetheless, worthy of attention, I guess I can say. I'll add to this that, we have been increasing the chances of a cut in December, now all the way up to 92%. If anything could excite the S&P 500, it would be closer, sooner cuts, more candy for the market to continue higher. The candy's priced in, so what's happening to the price? It's falling apart here. Uh-oh. Yeah. This is what a top looks like. This is what it feels like. It's starting to look like it. Pretty strongly at this point in the crystal ball. A little sign in the VIX curling up. It's going up. When will it stop? When will it stop going up? I really don't know. But on a day-to-day basis, it doesn't look like it's bumping along. But it is still low. Just seems to be waking up a little bit at this point. SMH. If you're watching the show, I'm short semiconductors with SOXS with 5% of my portfolio. I did really well today with SMH dropping by 2.5%. This is a formidable candle. This is like a lot of selling, not much buying. When you have these larger red candles, those are strong bears. The biggest one was October 15th of recent history. And when you see when the bulls take over, they're generally smaller green candles. The red ones are bigger. The bears are stronger here. And so it's looking more and more like, this Mr. Market head and shoulders top. It's playing out the way that I'm kind of expecting. I think we already went over Nvidia. This is a head and shoulders top. And again, with this company being like, there's an enormous amount of money put into this company. There's a lot of people that have put a lot of money into this company. And it is priced at a very, very speculative value. And it looks like it's about to crack to the downside. And semiconductors, they led the cycle, I think in the 80s, all the way back to the 80s. The semiconductors have sort of led the market by, as much as 6 months to a year sometimes. And so if this is cracking, rolling over to the downside, not that it takes 6 months to a year for the rest of the market to follow, but it's inevitable for the first, an industry that is competitive and doesn't have wide moat, and all it does is produce basically a commodity. To have this kind of valuation is just silly, and so it's the Mr. Market can, yeah, he's waking up here a little bit probably. I'm still happily sitting on my semiconductor short here. Another chart that caught my eye today was gold going up 1.26%. We had recently this bear flag that I drew here, and I said, the longer we stay in this, the less likely it is actually to play out to the downside, and becomes more likely to play out to the upside. Good chartists note that this is actually now, it negates the bear flag. So this is no longer a bearish looking setup. It's more neutral than it is anything. Cryptocurrency in general minus Bitcoin, found on tradingview.com, total 2 is what it's called. Crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, not showing any signs of strength at all. The game of hot potato might be ending. I mean, so yes, Bitcoin has increased in its price an unbelievable amount. I mean, I think we may look back again in history at Bitcoin similarly to the way that we currently look back to the tulip bulb mania. The fact that Bitcoin can go to zero means to me that there's a high probability, or at least a good probability, of that occurring. And, if Bitcoin can go to zero, what chance do the other altcoins have? When, at the end of the day, what are you relying on really? You're relying on someone to pay more money to you for this thing than what you paid for it. You paid someone else, and that you're hoping that tomorrow someone will pay a higher price for that. That's what a Ponzi scheme is. So yeah, this market, speculators out of steam, like I mentioned at this beginning of the show. There's another sign of that. I want to bring up MSOS. This is a cannabis ETF. Again, if we go back to the beginning of this fund, when all the excited investors in 2020 brought this fund up to a price of $55 for this collection of stocks, we've dropped more than 90% in the value of this fund. That is, yeah. I'm kind of astounded just because, like, these are companies. This is the ownership of companies, and the same people that were stupidly buying at the very top of this market, thinking that these companies somehow had all this magical value, are now selling exactly at the wrong time, when these companies clearly have stuff. They have stuff. They sell stuff. They make some money. I don't think they're worth nothing. The entire industry, I don't think, is worth nothing. I think there is maximum fear in this market right now. I don't think it could get any more fearful. And I think also when January comes and the new administration and, the politics roll over, and I'm not being political here at all. This isn't a political opinion, but I'm sensing that there might be a little too much fear of this market in general, that, powers that be will be more, I think they'll be more kind to this industry than what this industry is currently pricing, and what the people that are interested in this type of thing, personally, those are the people controlling the price here. And I think those people have maximum fear right now, and I don't think it's going to get more fearful. And then when we just look at the price, $4.08. This is sitting at all-time lows. I'm gonna buy some right now, actually, in after hours. I can't I can't not buy this. This is an industry that won't go away, as much as there are some people that believe that, you know, the Republicans of America are just completely anti-cannabis. First of all, they aren't all that way, and it's becoming more mainstream accepted across the nation everywhere. And I don't think that's gonna end. I think we are gonna, longer term especially, continue in that direction where this is seen not as some, evil, crazy thing that makes people lose their minds. I mean, that's how the narrative was when it all became illegal in the first place. And you know, any intelligent person that understands anything about it knows that, it's not something that is necessarily, I can't get into the politics here, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. Basically, this industry isn't over, but it's priced like it's over, and that excites me. And I'm buying some as soon as I finish this video. And that's all from me and my crystal ball. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Robschild.